Guys, back with another video for you today, and I've got a video that I was planning to do while I was gone earlier, but I couldn't get a place to shoot anything. So finally I'm doing a video here today in my hotel room for upcoming releases. Some of these fragrances are already out, some are appearing slowly here and there, but some exciting new releases that I'm going to talk to you about today. If you want to find out what they are, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian. Yes, today I'm talking about brand new releases either on their way or soon to launch. If you're excited about new fragrances, as always, you can tune into my channel to hear about new and exciting fragrances that I'm excited about launching soon. I do these videos about once a month, maybe sometimes twice a month. And then occasionally I'll do a video individually for a fragrance or group of fragrances that are launching soon that I'm even more excited about, such as the new one from Dior called DIORIVIERA, which I actually heard about from a few Dior associates while I was in Paris a week or so ago, a week and a half ago. So I did a separate video on that fragrance. You can go catch it separately. We're going to talk about other fragrances today. So the first group of fragrances, I'm going to talk to you about a bunch of new Tom Ford releases. So the first of which is Azure Lime. So this is a relaunch of their lime fragrance. I don't understand why they're relaunching this fragrance. I actually have a bottle of it. I rarely use it. I have to actually have the decanter bottle of it. And it's a bit underwhelming, although it's very fresh. It's definitely kind of got that tart, limey presence and chock full of citruses and floral notes, woods and musk. That's basically what it is. And I feel like it used to be in the brown decanter bottles or brown bottles in general. I think now they're moving it into the kind of bluish or greenish blue kind of bottles. At least that's what I think they're doing with it. I've seen one photo somewhere along the way on the internet. You know how the Tom Ford brand kind of releases fragrances out so people get them and things like that. So this is coming soon. I'm not excited about this one as much as I should be, I guess, because I have a ton of it. That's why I'm not really excited to check it out. I don't know if they've kept the fragrance the same or not, but let me know if you're a fan of Azure Lime, if you still have any juice left from the bottles that you have, and or if you've never got to sample it, if you're excited to sample this one. But moving on to another Tom Ford release, we've got Cafe Rose. So Cafe Rose is going into the signature line of fragrances, and it's going into a bottle very similar to Noir Femme. You know how Noir Extreme, they created a Noir Femme in that kind of more feminine bottle, and Noir Extreme, Noir Femme kind of had similarities to me, and I felt like the Noir Femme was a bit more floral in comparison to Noir Extreme. So now Cafe Rose is being moved out of the signature line, in the private blend, and going into this collection. So they're putting it in a feminine bottle, which I don't understand why they would do that. I think they should have just put it in a regular bottle. But either way, Cafe Rose is now going to become a signature collection. And I did a video several months ago asking which fragrances you guys want to be, moved into the signature collection. So I guess this is one of the ones that they're doing next. But if you don't know about Cafe Rose, it is definitely very rosy, a bit dry, also coffee. There's patchouli, incense, sandalwood, amber, and saffron in the notes as well. So let's see how it is. I have a whole decanter bottle of Cafe Rose as well. I'm not too excited about it, but I'm a little excited about this one. I want to see the bottle. I've seen a shot of it somewhere along the way, and it looks kind of interesting what they've done with it. So we shall see on Cafe Rose. And the next two fragrances I've already reported on. Grey Vetiver Parfum. I already see some people, posting photos about it. I haven't seen it in the States, obviously, because I've been out and I'm here in Europe. I'm actually shooting this video from northern France, and I've got this most amazing view here from my window, and then after here I'm heading to Milan for Incense. But Grey Vetiver Parfum, there are some posts about it. I'm hearing people talking about it. It's more concentrated parfum take on the original Grey Vetiver, and according to the notes there's orange blossom, saffron, and vetiver. I'm excited about this particular launch. I want to see what they do with a vetiver parfum version of a Tom Ford fragrance. So we shall see how it is. If any of you have gotten your nose on any of the fragrances I've spoken about so far, do let me know, put a comment down. And as I said, a lot of these bottles leak and people have access to them. Even some people sell them on eBay and things like that. So probably some of you have gotten your noses on them. And the last Tom Ford fragrance I'm going to talk to you about is Soleil de Feu. I've already reported on this one as well, in addition to the Grey Vetiver Parfum. And this one, I'm actually excited about this one, and I haven't collected a lot of the Soleil fragrances from Tom Ford, and I think this is the 4th one. And this one features sandalwood, tuberose, benzoin, and amber. Seems like it's going into a more ambery direction with that whole tuberose note in the fragrance. This one actually, I think it's making a debut right now as well, so I think some of you might have had your noses on this particular fragrance. So if you know about it, let me know, and also let me know what your thoughts are on the other Soleil fragrances. Which one is your favorite? Which ones should I buy? And we know that Tom Ford fragrances are extremely overpriced now, so use caution buying these. Buy them at the discounters, but sometimes I'm excited for these fragrances, so I end up, paying full retail. But the other thing I could always do with buying these fragrances, especially if you're in the States, I'm not sure if Rakuten works here in Europe, but in the States, Rakuten, when you're checking out at places like Neiman Marcus and Bergdorf Goodman's and Bloomingdale's, generally with also Saks, Bergdorf, and Neiman's does give you cash back, and occasionally it's 10% cash back. So if you pay for a bottle that's $500, 10% of it you get cash back. Plus there's a whole introductory sign up bonus of $30, and sometimes it's $40. So if you're ever into buying fragrances online, you can always do this, especially if it's blind, because sometimes these fragrances definitely deserve to be smelled, because they're so so pricey and expensive. You want to know what you're getting and not paying for something you might not like, especially when you're buying it blind. So moving on to the house of Marc-Antoine Barrois, we've got Ganymede Extrait that's launched. I actually got a whiff of it in Paris. I didn't end up going to the Marc-Antoine Barrois store to check it out, but somehow I was given a sample and I ended up smelling it. So to me, it does remind me of the original Ganymede, but I need to test it out from the actual bottle, wear it, see it. But I have smelled it, and it totally reminded me of the original Ganymede. It features notes of Immortelle, Akigala wood, myrrh, safraline, incense, and mandarin orange. And again, it's created by Quentin Bisch. So this Ganymede is a very, very popular fragrance for Marc-Antoine Barrois, and I could see so many people are into this fragrance, and they regard it as a very amazing fragrance creation. So are you a fan of Ganymede, and are you looking forward to checking out the Extrait version of it? So originally, also, I should say, B683 Extrait reminds me of Ganymede. So I don't know why, but B683 reminds me of Ganymede. So they're a bit confusing for me in that regard, but I'm actually really looking forward to testing Ganymede Extrait out from the actual bottle and seeing how I like it, because I really do love Ganymede, and hopefully Ganymede Extrait is going to live up to its more intense, robust qualities. But moving on to the house of Francesca Bianchi, we've got Byzantine Amber. I'm including this here, but there is a video coming out soon, first impressions review on this particular fragrance, plus also the latest hedonique fragrance from Francesca Bianchi. Byzantine Amber is definitely a leathery, ambery fragrance, obviously, because it's called Byzantine Amber. It's leather, labdanum, cinnamon, benzoin, frankincense, ambergris, styrax, geranium. So it's definitely in the style of Francesca Bianchi's fragrances. As I said, I have gotten my nose on it, and there's a review that should be launching or landing the next week, within the week, on this fragrance, in addition to the hedonique fragrance, which I'm not going to discuss here. So stay tuned for that, but let me know your thoughts on Byzantine Amber. Are you a fan of Francesca Bianchi's fragrances, and what are your thoughts on this latest release? Moving on to the house of by Kilian, and guess what? They have a flanker to love. Don't be shy. It's called Amber and Oud Special Edition 2023, once again created by Khalees Becker. So, okay, we'll try it. We'll see how it is. As I said, I always complain about this fragrance and how it's gotten watered down and reformulated. So now we're adding, amber and oud to boost it up, or beastie up, make it beastly. So we'll see how intense this becomes. And I like the idea of this fragrance. I've always loved it. I've been buying it since 2012. and I'm being told it's never gotten reformulated, and how dramatic it is different for me. So let's see how this version is. You know, I like the idea of it. It's marshmallows, amber, orange blossom, resins, oud, akigala wood, rose, and spices. So we've got akigala wood once again. So it's Khalees Becker who works at Givaudan, and Quentin Bisch is also Givaudan. Did I say Givaudan? Givaudan. They're both perfumers at Givaudan. So this is a proprietary ingredient from Givaudan that is used by perfumers there. So they've added, you know, akigala wood here with the new Love Don't Be Shy Amber and Oud Special Edition 2023. Let's see how it is. If you've gotten your nose on it, do let me know how it is. Put a comment down so I can find out. And one more fragrance from by Kilian. It's Blue Moon Ginger Dash, created by Sidonie Lancesor. So I got my nose on this one. I smelled it at Printemps in Paris, and I didn't really care for it. The cologne can be a bit overwhelming, although, you know, I should be honest, I have circled around or come around to cologne. It's not as overwhelmingly strong in a way that I can't tolerate it. I can tolerate it a little bit, but still, this fragrance did not smell that great to me. It is another, you know, fragrance that's in there kind of like, you know, I guess I should say liqueur like boozy fragrances collection, where they come in that kind of like whiskey glass bottles. But this is not a very great fragrance for me, unfortunately. The cologne really ruins it. I think if they did not feature the cologne in this fragrance, I think it might have smelled a little better. But then again, I personally think vodka is not necessarily boozy, so I don't really think they take on the characteristic of booziness in fragrances when you use the note of vodka. Same with their roses on ice. It's supposed to be like gin. Gin is not necessarily, doesn't have that kind of boozy characteristic as boozy notes like rum, whiskey, and cognac do. So when they use these notes, gin and vodka, they're very clear. There's not much substance there, so they don't come off boozy for me. So this one did not seem boozy, and that cologne was a bit too much. So this particular fragrance is a bit disappointing for me. Let me know your thoughts on this particular scenario. Do you consider vodka and gin boozy, like boozy notes such as whiskey, cognac, you know, rum, and even something like Calvados and you know, other notes that have more of a spirit-like, you know, touch to them? Let me know, put a comment on, because I don't consider these notes to be boozy myself. So that's another reason why I'm not really that excited for Blue Moon Ginger Dash. But moving on to a fragrance I got to sample as well that I really liked. I did a event at Javoy in Paris last couple of weeks ago. We did a meet and greet there, and I actually highlighted some new fragrances and some older favorites of mine. And this Queer Nilam from Atelier Materi was just put out, and it's a great smelling leather. Yes, it does remind me a little bit of Tuscan leather, but there's so much other things happening here that made it very luxurious and intense and robust, and I really like the smell of this particular leather. This might be probably one of Atelier Materi's more substantial fragrances, and I liked it a lot. In fact, I wore it, and I wore it before I went to lunch that same day when they had just put it out, and then came back and did the event, and I smelled really great with it. It features patchouli, tobacco, rose, leather, cardamom, violet leaves. Man, it is really good. Yes, it will remind you of Tuscan leather, but it's different than Tuscan leather. So it smells a little different. It has violet leaves note listed. There's no mention of like raspberry or something, but there is definitely a bit fruitiness there, and I think we're getting it from the violet leaves note. But the combination of notes and the way the fragrance wore on me was great. And I previewed it and showed it to a bunch of folks that came for the meet and greet, and they really liked it as well. So this is definitely one I will post about and wear and discuss in the future. So moving on to a Kayali fragrance. It's Yum Pistachio Gelato 33. I did not realize this was created by Olivier Cresp. No, I knew it was created by Olivier Cresp, but I did not realize that it was also co-created by Olivier Cresp's son, Sebastian Cresp, which is kind of cool. I haven't smelled this fragrance yet. I'm looking forward to smelling it. Pistachio is the new cherry, I feel like. So wait for a pistachio fragrances video soon. But this one features notes of whipped cream, marshmallow, cotton candy, pistachio, sandalwood, tonka beans, bergamot, ice cream, rum, hazelnuts, cardamom, locum, lily of the valley, jasmine, peony. There are so many notes listed for this. It's like we're going back in time and we are releasing all the notes for fragrances, which is kind of cool, you know? This seems very complex. I hope it wears complex, although I feel like the pistachio, since it does come in the top notes, it's not about pistachio. It does say pistachio gelato, so we'll see how it is and how it wears. But this one seems exciting. I'm glad they're working with Olivier Cresp. He does know how to do these kind of fragrances really well, I think, because he's the one that created Angel for Mugler, the original from 1992. So this one's great, and of course it's done or created in conjunction with his own son. And is this the first fragrance he's created? I don't know. I haven't seen him much, except for I follow Olivier Cresp and I saw something there about him and I didn't realize he was a perfumer at Firmenich, so I guess he is. So we'll see how Yum Pistachio Gelato 33 is. If you've gotten your nose on it, do let me know. I'm excited for this one. And what do you guys think? Is pistachio the new cherry? Let me know. Put a comment down so I can find out. And speaking of pistachio, we've got DS and Durga launching 2 fragrances, although I feel like they're kind of overdoing with their releases. I don't know. They've got, I looked up the dates for releases and I see 4 different releases for them this year so far. And that doesn't include the pistachio, which was launched last year as a limited and came in and officially launched this year. So it's a lot of fragrances. What do you guys think? Is it too many when a brand launches not only 1 or 2, but like 3 or 4? Blah, blah, blah. So many fragrances. Let me know your thoughts on this particular scenario. But I am enjoying this brand. I am digging into them slowly. And I got pistachio and really love it. Leather Eyes was also really, really great. And one of my all-time favorites from this house is I don't know what. But they have a fragrance called Steamed Rainbow and the Carlisle. Let's talk about Steamed Rainbow first. It's, again, all the fragrances are created by the owner, David Seth Moltz, and this one features violet, grass, vetiver, mandarin orange, almond blossom, and elemi resin. I don't know what this one's all about. I like violet in fragrances, so we shall see. Violet does tend to go into kind of a makeup powdery, sometimes fruity direction, so we'll see how Steamed Rainbow is. And then finally, the Carlisle is a tribute to or dedicated to the Hotel the Carlisle, and this one, I don't know if it's a limited edition, like pistachio was, and if it becomes really popular they bring it back. I'm not sure, but this one features notes of hay absolute, moss, sandalwood, honeysuckle, linden tree, bergamot, lime, neroli, rose. So hay can go a bit animalic for me, barnyard smelling animalic, so I don't know how this one will be. And it also has moss in there, moss and linden tree, so floral, citrusy, and woody, and, you know, mossy, and, you know, animalic, I guess. We'll see how it is, but it sounds great. I like the name. Does it compete with Carlisle from Parfums de Marly? No, this is the Carlisle, but, you know, it's a hotel, the Carlisle. So, or actually it's a fragrance inspired or dedicated to the hotel, the Carlisle. If you've gotten your nose on these fragrances, let me know. Moving on to Pierre Guillaume's Costume Liquide. This is a brand that's very, very underhyped, underrated. Let me know your thoughts on this house if you're a fan of their fragrances. But Costume Liquide is another fragrance that's launching soon. It's black pepper, iris, peony, basil, violet leaves, and vetiver. So it's an ozonic fragrance, it seems like. Spicy, powdery, floral, aromatic, woody, and ozonic. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this one as well. And the next fragrance, Frappan has one called Attendre and Esperer, which I got to sample at Javoy at the meet and greet. It was another fragrance that they had just put out, and actually really, really like this fragrance. Really smells great. It's definitely vetiver, woody, aromatic, earthy, and very nutty. So they've got Atlas cedar, Haitian vetiver, nuts as a note. It does seem a bit hazelnutty. Cardamom, iris, salted caramel, black pepper, Italian lemon, and neroli. This smelled fantastic. Really, really love this one. And this is another really underrated house that has some great fragrances, but nobody really talks about them. And this definitely, I feel like it's going to be perfect for spring, summer, and also autumn. you know, the way the fragrance smells. To me, it smells more like autumn and maybe a little bit of spring, but more like autumn because of the vetiver note and the nuts in there. And so I feel like it'll be a perfect autumn fragrance, but like warm days in autumn and then also warm days in the spring as well. So yeah, it's really good. I've smelled it. I put it on. It smells fantastic. Love the nuttiness in that fragrance. All right, up next we've got Juliette Has a Gun's Lust for Sun. This one seems like a tropical, beachy, solar floral fragrance. Lots of floral notes with citruses here. We've got ylang ylang, bergamot, orange blossom, ambroxan, gardenia, coconut, freesia, jasmine, white musk, and vanilla. So I feel like the brand uses ambroxan or molecular notes quite a bit to extend the life of fragrances and have better longevity. So I do enjoy ambroxan fragrances, and I do enjoy Juliette Has a Gun fragrances as well. I really like the brand, and I think their prices are really good. They're more like designer price category fragrances, but niche smells, more unique smells. And so this one actually sounds really fun. It's definitely more of a floral, tropical, yellow floral and beachy kind of type of a fragrance with musks and vanilla and of course lots of citruses and floral notes. And the coconut kind of, I think, mixed with the ylang ylang and the gardenia, I think will create a definitely kind of a, you know, beachy vibe to me. So I can't wait to smell this one. They launched Vanilla Vibes back in 2019, around the same time, which I was instantly enjoyed it. It's kind of a salty vanillic fragrance, beachy also. This one seems more in the floral direction with beachiness rather than, you know, overdose of vanilla. But we'll see how it is. If you've gotten your nose on this one, do let me know. Put a comment down below. Moving on to a couple of designers, 3. We've got Armani Stronger With You Amber. So amber, Madagascan, vanilla, and then also lavender are the notes here mentioned. And I do enjoy the 2 fragrances from this house. I think there was a leather and there was an oud. Is that true? They're both really good, except I think I enjoyed the leather more. I need to pull them out. I put them away because they're very, very limited edition and hard to find. And now I'm kind of looking forward to the amber as well. I'll feel like, though, the fragrance collection already is more amber focused when they got more intense. Never really cared for the original. So I don't know how unique and original this is going to be in comparison to some of their more intense options that are available more easily, like at the, you know, discounters and also, you know, main stores and things like that. But either way, I'm curious to smell this one because I really enjoy ambers, and sometimes more luxurious, you know, additions of fragrances or higher end fragrances do create some really great, you know, fragrances that are amber focused. But moving on to a Calvin Klein, it's CK1 Reflections, created by Alexandra Carlan and Christelle Laprade. This is musks. Ice note comes in twice. We've got woods, green tea, lemons, and ginger. So different from the original CK1 that came out in the early 90s. CK1 Reflections seems like it's aquatic. Is it marine? It's ice. It's so maybe it has a cold ice type of a vibe to it, but I'm curious to try this one as well. Calvin Klein's releases as of late are not the best, but always curious to try something like this with the iciness. So this might be a fragrance to wear when it's really, really hot outside, especially since it has 2 usages of ice in the notes. So we've also got Jean Paul Gaultier Le Mal Elixir. Great looking bottle, and I like the idea of the elixir. Is it finally going to be a parfum? Because they have Le Parfum, it was an eau de parfum, which I like that fragrance as well. And this bottle seems a lot more luxurious. It's all gold and everything. I don't know who the perfumer for this one is, but the Le Parfum was created by Quentin Bisch, I believe. So maybe he did this one as well. But it's lavender, benzoin, and tonka beans. And, you know, I do enjoy the original, and I do enjoy the Le Parfum, and the elixir of Jean Paul Gaultier Le Mal sounds great as well. The original was created by Francesca. So anyway, that's that one. So we've got a few more fragrances. We've got Obvious Parfums Un Été, I think that's how you say it, created by Miab McCurtain. I don't know the perfumer very well, but it's a ginger matcha tea, mate tea inspired fragrance. And it features lots of ginger with matcha tea, mate, orange blossom, clementine, mandarin, vanilla, peru balsam, tonka beans. So it's a very fresh tea fragrance with citruses, and then of course it becomes a bit more substantial and ambery and vanilla as it's drying down. Are you a fan of this house? It doesn't get a lot of hype, and I feel like they have really great fragrances. Their prices are nice, and they're, you know, kind of has a unique notes inspired focused fragrances, except I think this one is not necessarily Unete, but they've got really awesome fragrances like Un Bois is great, the Oud is great, the Fig is great, the Orange Blossom is great, lots of great fragrances. So we shall see how this one is, but if you've gotten your nose on it, let me know. Finally, Aesop or Aesop's Gloam. It's a new one from Aesop. They're starting to crank out fragrances quite frequently now, once a year at least. And Gloam is another fragrance created by their perfumer Barnaby Filian, and it features notes of mimosa flower, iris, saffron, jasmine sambac, and woodsy notes. And I'm a fan of the house. Yeah, they're quite pricey fragrances, but I like their aesthetic and I like their products and also like their fragrances. This one seems it's going into more of a feminine direction with the mimosa, yellow flower, powdery, a bit almondy. So we'll see how this one is. And then finally, this one, I have not any visuals to show you. And I heard about this last October when I was at TFWA, when I met with Amouage. Jubilation 40 is coming out. Jubilation 40 is an extract version of the original Jubilation. And if you caught my top 20 Amouage fragrances video recently, I mentioned I had bought a bottle of Jubilation XXV, I believe, back like many years ago from a website called Notino, when they were running here, and what I had received was not something I really enjoyed. And when I recently smelled Jubilation at for men at Neiman Marcus, I thought, wow, whatever I got, I knew I was right, did not smell great, and I had not, you know, go back and re-smell the Jubilation. So finally I smelled it last year, really loved it, and then at the end of the year in October I saw that Jubilation 40 is coming out, but I was told I can't really discuss it, and now that it's out there, people are talking about it. Yes, I'm so excited for this extract version. I really like the extract versions of fragrances from Amouage, and I think this one's going to be amazing. It's a fragrance originally created by Bertrand Duchaffoul, so I'm really looking forward to Jubilation 40. If you've gotten your nose on it, please let me know. I never got my nose on it, so I don't know what it's going to smell like, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. Anyway, those are all the fragrances that are coming out. There's probably a lot more which I don't have here. We'll do another video sometime soon when I go back to the States, but let me know what your thoughts are on these fragrances. Are you interested in these fragrances? Put a comment down so I can find out. But either way, guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please do list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye. I do have one bonus option as well. I heard from the grapevine that the next Millésime fragrance for Shalimar by Guerlain is going to be an iris focused one. Last year they did tonka beans. The previous year I believe they did just vanilla, which I never got my nose on. Of course the tonka beans, amazing, loved it so much. I have 2 bottles of it, 1 bottle stored away, 1 bottle used sparingly, and that thing came out and disappeared so fast because it was fantastic take on Shalimar. So this, if this is true, we'll see if Iris is the next Millésime, Shalimar Millésime. I don't know if you guys know this. I heard from the grapevine it is launching, and I'm looking forward to it. The Tonka was launched in September, so let's hopefully the Iris will launch in September, and I can get my hands on 1 or 2 if it's really good. But either way, that's all I have for you. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good one. Bye-bye.